So you downloaded Starfish Literacy's Letter Sound Cards Level 1, and your child has already started learning some of their letter sounds, or you've already watched part 1 of this series. Let's dive into part 2, which is going to be blending sounds together. Included in this printable file is a blending sequence that you could follow with your child. It is very possible that at school your child may be learning a different type of blending sequence, but it is likely going to follow something similar to this. And you will also see a sample word list that corresponds to the blending sequence. This sample word list offers you a variety of words that your child could begin blending and reading. Now let's go through together examples of one word from each category of the blending list. Your child does not have to learn all of their letter sounds in order to begin blending. The first step in blending is actually just going to be a vowel and a consonant. Once your child has knowledge of a couple vowels and some consonants, you can begin teaching them how to blend. And it looks like this. You would tell them to touch the letter or the card and say, I want you to touch this and say the sound it makes. Very good. And then again, touch this card or touch this letter and say the sound that it makes. T, and encourage them to continue to repeat the sounds it, until they can successfully blend it together. It. Next, we have consonant, vowel, consonant words. Let's take a look at these. Like the vowel consonant words, with consonant vowel consonant words, or CVC words, you can encourage your child to touch each card or touch each letter and say the sound. S, it, sit. Once your child has mastered CVC words, they can work on adding an S at the end. Here is a great teaching point for your child because some letters make more than one sound. Right? We know this as adults, but this is something we have to explicitly teach to children. And this is a great first introduction to that. You can explain to them two things. The first is that S actually makes two sounds. S can make S or S can make Z. Next, you can explain to your child that S at the end of a word that is a noun or a thing means that that thing is plural, like cats, dogs, hats, bugs. Make sure to provide your child with examples where they are practicing CVC plus S that make the S sound and the Z sound. Next, your child can begin practicing blends. Blends are going to be two consonants that make distinct sounds, but they do kind of blend together a bit. Let's take a look at an example of one together. Here you can see there are 4 cards because there are 4 distinct sounds. So your child would go k, oo, app, k, oo, app. And you can tell them that these first 2 consonants are a blend. So they do blend together a bit. Cl, app, clap. Once your child is able to read blends, you can begin adding an S at the end, just like we did with CVC words. So instead of clap, it would be claps. Make sure to check out this sample word list because it's going to give you many examples of words that your child can begin blending and reading. Next is going to be digraphs. Digraphs are going to be 2 or more letters that make one sound. Let's take a look at an example. You can see in the printable file that all of the digraphs are going to be on one card. That is because they make one sound. So you would encourage your child to touch each card and say the sound. So, sh, sh, hush. When working with digraphs with your child, I encourage you to teach them one at a time. And as they've mastered one, add another. But of course, make sure to go at a pace that suits your child's needs. Next is going to be our long vowel sounds, where you will see a vowel, the line, which would be a consonant, and E. Let me just first show you one of the cards, and you can see why it's been created this way. You may notice that our vowel, consonant, E cards are longer than our other cards, and that is intentional because you can tell your child, same rule that we've been following, when we have one card that is going to make one sound, even if there is a letter here. And these cards are going to allow you to place a consonant right in the middle here and a consonant here at the beginning. And your child will be able to blend these sounds together, but they have that visual cue and that visual reminder that, oh, yeah, this is one sound. Here is an example of that. You'll see that I actually just covered up that line, that black line, and it's intentional that it's black because it reminds your child to take one of their consonant cards, their black cards, and place it right above it. So now you could tell them, okay, remember, each card is one sound. And even though the A and the E are not next to each other, they still make one sound because they're on that one card. So ave, wave. As a reminder from video 1, all of these vowels here are going to be making their long vowel sound. So A, E, I, O, U, or U. You can make sometimes a little bit of a different sound when it's in different words. And this E does not make a sound. It does function in some sort of vowel team so that this letter says it's long vowel. And lastly, included are 2 more long vowels, both long vowel A. One is AI and one is AY. You can teach these together with your child if you'd like, or if you know that it would be best to teach them separately, go ahead and do that. I want to point out that once your child has mastered something from a previous category, like you'll see here a digraph, you can start including that with a new skill. Maybe not right away. Maybe here, the first time they work with AI, they could put a or a p. So that way they can really practice on learning this piece. But you'll see that I've included a digraph at the beginning, so that allows them that additional practice with blending these skills that they have been learning. Remind them that each card is going to be one sound and encourage them to continue to repeat the individual sounds until they're able to blend them together. Chain, chain. And let's take a look at AY, which also makes long vowel A sound. Day, day. Another great way to see if your child has mastered a skill is to have them read nonsense words. These are not real words, but they do allow you to see if your child has knowledge of how to blend without making sense of the word. Let's take a look at one. This is an example of a nonsense consonant vowel consonant word. You can really do this at any stage of the blending in order to see if your child is able to successfully blend without having to make meaning of the word. Here we have ox, gox. Not a real word, right? But if your child can put these sounds together, gox, and goes, oh yeah, I just read gox. Now you know that they are able to successfully blend without needing a cue of what the meaning of the word is. In the comments, make sure to share about how this activity is working with your child, and make sure to follow Starfish Literacy so you can learn about more resources and more tips and tricks that you can use to support your child's reading and writing skills.